Do I need to turn it on or is it on? Nope. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to kick off our media availabilities today here at Atlanta Motor Speedway with Shane Van Giesbergen, driver of the number 97 Colleague Racing Chevrolet. If you have a question for Shane, please raise your hand and we will get a wireless microphone over to you. We'll start right up here with Cameron.
Cameron Richardson, NASCAR.com. Shane, how did your first Super Speedway debrief go, and what can you take from last weekend that will help you for Saturday?
Yeah, hey everyone. It was pretty full-on weekend for me. I learnt a lot. I got involved in 7 crashes, and only 1 was my fault, really. But yeah, I tried to analyze everyone, and all the 6 that I got involved in, I couldn't figure out a way I could have done things different. It's just this style of that racing and something I have to accept. You got to run the risk of getting that good result, but you're probably going to get into a crash. And it's an amazing mindset to go racing with, something I've never had to do before. Go into a race thinking, it's 50-50 whether you'll crash or you won't. So it's pretty different.
We'll go up here to Jordan Bianchi.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Going into Daytona, did you have certain ideas of what you thought what it was going to be like, and then did those preconceived notions change at all?
Not really. I try never to have any expectations. I did as much study as I could, got a lot of advice from good people, but until you feel when you're out there and, you're going 3 seconds a lap faster when you're in the pack, and when you're the 4th or 5th car, there's just no air, and you're sliding around like crazy. It's like drifting into the corners at 300. Or 180, whatever it is in your language, but it's a crazy feeling, and until you feel it, you don't really know.
And obviously, Daytona and Atlanta are different, but there are some similarities. So, what did you feel like you learned from Daytona that you could apply this weekend?
Just knowing how to place the car to get air on it, to change the balance and grip, and how to stay in line, and then, learning the proximity of the car to the wall on the right side. It took me a while to know where the right side of the car was, just learning the width of the car. I hadn't really driven around people. We did some single file stuff in practice, but no double file. So I was always a bit, given a little bit too much space than I should have early on. And that cost me at the start. I was following AJ, my teammate, and I just kept pulling out a line, which sent us backwards. So I got better at that, but at the end, my car was a bit too beat up to do much with it.
Let's go up to Bob Pockris.
Bob Parker's Fox Sports F2. First off, so was last weekend fun?
One of the races was, the other wasn't.
And have you been keeping up with supercars at all? Have you watched anything yet from Bathurst? Will you, or are you trying to make a clean break from it?
No, I watched it. I got a lot of friends, drivers and team people, and I watched practice 1 that was on at a decent hour. And it was a weird feeling. It's been 17 years of driving out pit lane with all those people. So, yeah, it was a shame to miss it. But I guess, I had fun. I feel like I belong here. I feel like I've definitely done the right thing for my career and racing enjoyment. So I'm not missing it, I don't feel like.
Let's go to Kelly Crandall and then Dustin Long.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Shane, it's a small sample size, but between Daytona last weekend and then the events you ran last year, you were also a spectator some weekends last year. What's been the takeaway so far of just the atmosphere in the garages and being here in NASCAR, and maybe I'm hoping you have felt welcome in the garages?
Yeah, it's been awesome. All the teams are awesome. The people and the fans as well are really cool. It's been great to see that response, but yeah, this style of weekend is different. I never really go to a track on a Friday morning, qualify, and then race tomorrow and home that night. Normally our weeks have been 5 or 6 days, so it's a big change for me doing these short weekends. But it's pretty cool. I like the routine of it. We got home Monday, 2 days at home, or 3 days, and then come to a race again. It's a cool routine to be part of, and hopefully I feel like that in 30 weeks from now.
Go ahead.
Let me follow up on that, because it's short weekends, but as you said, it's going to be a longer year than I believe you've done with racing. like a longer season?
Not really. Like our season is longer, but less races. We normally end up finishing in December.
Okay, so it's going to be more back-to-back weekends.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you thought much about that, and just maybe anything you have to do differently to just keep yourself physically and mentally in this every weekend?
I don't know. I don't try not to get too deep about it. I love racing, and the routine of it. As soon as, Daytona was over, I was already watching these races on boards, trying to study and trying to get as much as I could from the engineering group at Corlig to prepare me for this. So, yeah, I love racing, so hopefully it shouldn't wear me out, yeah.
Let's go to Dustin Long.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Shane, you mentioned being involved in 7 crashes last weekend. Normally for you, is that the equivalent of a season's worth or 2 seasons worth from what you, give me a sense of how long it would take for you to be involved in 7 crashes in a normal year for you?
I think I had 2 or 3 last year. Like, it's crazy. And then our cars last year especially were just made out of glass. Like, I thought my race was over. Especially in Xfinity, I got out at the end, and I expected it to be ruined, and it wasn't too bad. The suspension was bent and the fenders were pushed in, but it didn't look as bad as I thought. Like, the cars are so tough here. It's pretty impressive what they can take.
And what is that? You mentioned earlier just the different mindset. What is it like to have that mindset, that idea? Because obviously, when what you raced, that was never much of a thought, and it has to be a little bit more of a thought. You see the highlights of some of the big hits, knowing you're going to do that, or that could be, that could be your situation. How do you shape your mind for something like that?
Yeah, not only that, but also the results as well. I think I read a stat somewhere that there's only 5 guys with a top 10 finishing rate of 50% or better. So I used to go to a track, and if you weren't top 3 on a weekend, it's a disaster. So having that results mindset has been a huge switch as well. So being a part of a rookie makes accepting that easier, and I just got to settle in and, shoot for top 15s, then top 10s, try and get some consistency. But yeah, when you look at even the top guys' results last year, they're all over the place week to week. It's it's very different, different way to approach races.
And one last thing is, obviously Daytona 500 is the biggest event for the stock car series. You've somebody coming over, and so there was a new experience. The sport's growing, trying to reach more international superstars to potentially come over for the Daytona 500. How do you talk to anybody that would be of interest in it? Because I'm sure that their first thought would be, why do I want to race in this? Because I got a 50% chance of crashing. How might you talk somebody through, another international superstar like yourself?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd tell them to come and do that event for the first one, but it was definitely a cool experience for me to be a spectator and, the pre-race show, seeing the stands full on a Monday as well. Like, it was pretty awesome to be a part of and to watch. But, yeah, as an outsider to come in and just jump straight into that race, it would be super difficult to perform well, compared to like the street circuit was for me. So, yeah, I don't know if I'd advise someone to come and do that for their one-off.
Let's go to Chris Knight.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Shane, I know that you only got 4 good laps in during the ARCA race on was that Friday night?
Yep.
So will you return to the series, and is it a possibility that we could see you do triple duty at Talladega to get some more drafting experience?
I got my license now, so hopefully not.
So you don't have any other ARCA races on your schedule?
I don't know, like the car was fun and the team was fun, but when the race started, like I'd never gone too wide before, and my spotter was awesome, and he was pushing me more than I wanted to start with, but it was good. We needed to clear some people, so the first lap I was 3 wide on the tri-oval, shitting myself, and then I got around 1 and 2 and cleared everyone, and man, that was awesome. And then I just seen everyone swapping lanes, and I was too far ahead. Like, I think we already got into the top 20, so I couldn't really get out at that point. And then, yeah, it was just mayhem. The rest of the race, just lapping, I just stayed well off the back of the pack and still got involved in stuff. It was carnage, but ticked it off.
We'll go to Deb Williams and then Lee Spencer.
Deb Williams, Auto Week. You mentioned about having to adjust to racing around the cars. You did a lot of work on the sim. So what was the big difference that you noticed from what you worked with the sim to actual race?
Well, just on sim, you don't really do the super speedway stuff, but just feeling what the air does to cars, and that's, unfortunately, I spun a guy out. He was passing me at a speed, and I went to slot in line, and I didn't realize how much the side draft would slow him up. So, like, he was passing me pretty quick, and as soon as I got beside him, it was like he let off the throttle, and I just got his rear bumper. Like, that kind of stuff you don't learn until you feel it. So, unfortunately, it was at his expense, but now I kind of know what things do. But it's crazy at this speed how much the air affects the car. So, I'm sure it's going to be like that here tenfold, you know, into a corner with more radius. Yeah.
Lee Spencer.
After your comment earlier to Chris, you might want to look into a Depends sponsorship. I'm just thinking.
What's that?
A Depends sponsorship. They're adult diapers. But anyway, just kind of curious, have you found that your fan base from New Zealand and perhaps Australia have followed you over here at all?
Yeah, it's been pretty cool seeing how excited everyone was for it, and it became available on TV now in New Zealand, so it was cool, everyone watching that, and yeah, like the interest has been pretty surprising, and yeah, pretty cool feeling actually to have so many people follow me over, and all the news sites over there following each race. It's yeah, it's really cool to see.
And what have you found to do for fun? Because I mean, New Zealand has incredible golf courses and beaches and climbing, you know, hiking, all kinds of different things. What are you doing here to kind of relax, have fun?
Not much. It's been mainly just all racing stuff, but yeah, found a few good woods trails to run around with the dog and girlfriend, stuff like that. It's been pretty cool. It's a nice area where we are in Mooresville, pretty relaxed and close to everything, which is good. So I've been enjoying it so far.
Are there any final questions for Shane? We'll go back up to Bob Pockris.
I know you did the one race at IRP, but was that the most racing you'd ever done at night? And was that any different for you?
No, I've done the Rolex and Le Mans 24 before, so done a fair bit of racing at night, but I'd never started one like last Friday at 11 or whatever that was. Yeah.
All right, thanks for the time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.